Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. As I was discussing this very critical, very important aspect of our faith, our identity, our deen itself, and I said this prayer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made obligatory for us 5 times a day, it's so critical, it's so essential to being a Muslim that we need to pray, that we have to pray, that the Prophet ﷺ has distinguished between the kufr, between disbelief and iman. He's distinguished the two by one thing. The criterion is what? Whether or not somebody prays. And I said that there's 2 conditions of somebody who abandons the prayer. First condition he may be in or she may be in, if he or she believes that this is not fard for me, this is not compulsory for me, I don't have to pray. If someone really believes that, then they are outside of the fold of Islam. They have left Islam, they have left the deen, because they are making something fard into non-fard. We cannot change the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it fard. Prophet ﷺ, in his practice, in his speech, he has made it fard. We cannot change that. We have to believe that it is compulsory. So if someone is in this first category, this is absolute danger. They must change, they must do tawbah, they must repent and change their belief at least. Even if they don't pray, they should say, they should believe, they should have full faith that this prayer is compulsory. It is fard, it is obligatory, I have to pray. Now, they may not still pray because of laziness, because of weakness in iman, because of lack of understanding, because of many reasons, because of busy with dunya, because of business, because of this or that. There may be many reasons why they may still not pray, but at least the second category is that if somebody believes the prayer is compulsory, it's obligatory, it's fard, but they're still not praying out of laziness, out of there could be other distractions or just simply ignorance, etc. Then this second category of people, there's a difference of opinion on whether about their Islam. Some scholars said that they don't become non-Muslim because they still believe that they have to pray, but out of laziness, out of just leaving things off, or weakness of faith or ignorance, simply they're not praying, they're fasiq, they're rebellious transgressors. It's a big crime, it's a big sin, but they're Muslim. This is one opinion, and they shouldn't be punished, etc. But anyway, that's a bigger discussion about the difference of opinion and what should happen to those people. But for our purposes, it's enough to know that even the second category who believe they should pray and they still don't pray, it's a huge crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may be technically still called a Muslim, but it's a huge crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's one of the biggest crimes against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to, if somebody wants to come out of this, they have to do tawbah. And many scholars said they have to make up all of their salah. Or at least some scholars said they have to do sincere tawbah and try their best to make up all the salah that they missed. So this is a critical situation. This is so important. This salah has to be, this importance of salah as part of Muslim identity, as part of Muslim faith and practice. There is no other ibadah that can match it in terms of its critical importance. And this importance, this consequences of not praying, we have really lost this in our communities. We have really forgotten how bad it is not to pray. Even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, let's compare ourselves. Even the hypocrites, the munafiqun, about whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they will be in the lowest of the hellfire. Even they used to pray because they knew if they don't pray, the other Muslims will see them as non-Muslims. They knew to identify themselves outwardly, externally, they would have to still pray. They used to attend the Jama'ah with the Prophet ﷺ in the masjid all the time. They would be there praying. So even the hypocrites used to pray in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. But now Muslims don't pray and we think nothing of it. We still respect them, we give them lots of high position, we honor them, we treat them as, good people. But at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, even the hypocrites, they used to pray. So this is so important for our faith, for our deen, for our survival. And it's one of the biggest crimes against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because, as we said, the whole purpose of our creation, whole purpose of us being here on this earth is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you're not praying 5 times a day, how will you be worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The salah is one of the 5 pillars, and it's one of the 4 types of worship that we've been commanded to do. But the other worship, the Hajj, the pillars of worship, the Hajj, the Ramadan, fasting in Ramadan, and the Zakat, right? And Salah, these are the 4 pillars of practice in terms of Shahada is to testify, to say. But the 4 acts of worship that are regular, 3 are yearly, and 2 are yearly, and 1 is once in a lifetime. Hajj is only for those who can afford it, once in a lifetime. If they qualify in terms of money and they can make their way there, then it becomes fard only once in a lifetime. Zakat, perhaps only once in a year. If they have enough money above the nisab, then they pay the zakat. Same with fasting of Ramadan. It's only once a year. Fasting of Ramadan is only once a year, 1 month per year. But the only ibadah that is with a Muslim 24/7 is with a Muslim 24 hours every day, 7 days a week, every month, every year. The only ibadah, only ritual pillar of ibadah and worship is as-salah, is the prayer. There's 5 times a day prayer from the moment we wake up before sunrise, at midday, in the afternoon, after sunset, and early evening. 5 times a day prayer that is there to remind us at each hour, every few hours, is to remind us of our purpose in life, is to remind us of our ubudiyya, of our servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to remind us that we are slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. We cannot just simply live life the way we want and do whatever we please. We have to be reminded that there is a creator, and we have to be reminded that our goal in this life is to achieve success in the next life. Our goal in this life is to become slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to become worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this salah 5 times a day, so that we remember, we are reminded often, as we mentioned in a few episodes before, that the key thing that keeps us away from the remembrance, the dhikrullah, from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is actually forgetting, nisyan, to forget, and ghafla, to be heedless. It's human nature to forget and to be heedless. And because that's our nature, we need the reminder often. We need reminder every day. We need a reminder every few hours. Otherwise we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we forget the next world, we become busy with this world. And there's nothing wrong. We have to work, we have to go college, we have to go to university, we have to carry on with our lives, that's fine. But within that, we must attend the salah, we must be performing the prayers. And that's why it's there 5 times a day, prayer. And this is the only ibadah, only act of worship which was made fard, not on this earth, not given to the Prophet ﷺ on this earth. It was given in the heavens, in the Mi'raj, in the night ascension to the heavens, that the Prophet ﷺ went on the night journey. It was given in the heavens. This is the virtue and honor of salah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this act of worship in the heavens, not on the earth. This is the honor and the virtue of as-salah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala originally made it 50 times prayers a day, 50, until the Prophet ﷺ went back and forth on the advice of Musa alayhi salam. So this is the reason why we said that 5 times a day prayer has been enjoined upon us, so that we're constantly in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Punctuation of the day, throughout the day, 5 times a day, so that we are not in nisyan, we're not forgetting, we're not in ghafla, we're not heedless about the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about our purpose in life, why we're here. It's a reminder, constant reminder, and it's there throughout the day. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this 5 times a day prayer. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to implement whatever we've been discussing. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.